What is the best color combination in Ravnica Allegiance Limited? After a gazillion sealed and draft simulations, I do believe I have the answer. So let's look at each one. First off, blue-white Azorius. There are some strong cards in Azorius, but what holds Azorius back is that it feels like it's trying to do too many things at once. There are cards devoted to narrow synergies like Flyers, Defender, Mill, Instants, and Sorceries, but these themes feel rather shallow with each one having so few cards to work with, and the end result is a lot of dud cards amidst a few good ones. Is it possible to build a good Azorius deck? Sure, but unless it goes deep into a third color, all too often Azorius just feels very underwhelming. Next, let's look at white-black Orzhov. On the surface, it's easy to see that Orzhov has a lot going for it. Orzhov not only has access to great removal, but it also has a great central mechanic, and that is Afterlife, which makes token flyers when the creature dies. And what I love most about Orzhov is that it can splash a third color for either Azorius or Rakdos. Both of these splash options work really well with Orzhov because Orzhov has really great cards that cost 2, and both Azorius and Rakdos have access to great cards that cost 3 or more in order to fill out the curve nicely. But I found that Orzhov did fall short occasionally. Orzhov often had a strong turn 2 creature followed by a strong turn 3 removal, but turn 4 and beyond was dangerous territory where Orzhov tended to lose steam. Even with great sacrifice synergy, closing out games can be tough with Orzhov, especially with so many valuable late game cards in the set. So to make an effective Orzhov build, splash either blue or red for extra removal, and be sure to fill out the curve smoothly into late game finishers. But overall, a very strong color combination. Next, let's talk about red-green Gruul. With the right cards, a Gruul deck is near unstoppable, and with mediocre cards, the deck is still very strong. There are just so many Gruul creature threats that can hit hard, which can be coupled with a surprising amount of removal at the common rarity. The only Achilles heel of Gruul is that its green removal can be interrupted by the opponent's instant removal, or if the opponent has Death Touch creatures, that would also present a problem with fight since Death Touch still applies. But luckily for Gruul, it can splash black for extra removal, or in the unlikely case that Gruul is lacking bombs, Gruul can splash blue for late game +1/+1 counter synergy. Overall, Gruul can easily dictate turn 2 and onward, and its flexibility in both aggressiveness and splash colors makes Gruul unlikely to have a bad day. Now let's look at blue-green Simic. Simic has access to plenty of late game bombs, especially with its main mechanic Adapt, which can put 1/1 counters on creatures at instant speed. Simic has ramp to help it get into late game, although ramp can be a bit hit or miss depending on when we draw it. And Simic does have quite a few bounce cards, but other than that, it is the weakest color combination when it comes to removal. It could splash red for removal and 1/1 counter synergy, but Simic is in a bit of a tough spot because its best cards have high converted mana cost, and splashing red or white doesn't really solve this problem. Overall, Simic is great late game, but getting there can be rocky given the shortage of removal. Lastly, let's look at red-black Rakdos. Rakdos does have access to plenty of removal, and it has the potential to be the most aggressive of all the color combinations if everything falls into place. That's largely due to its main mechanic Spectacle, which lowers the casting cost if the opponent has lost life this turn. The trouble with Rakdos is that while there are a lot of aggressive early game cards, there are just as many late game cards, and that can result in an awkward Rakdos deck that is not fast enough to win quickly and not powerful enough to win long games. Overall, Rakdos is strong if it commits to being an aggressive deck, but it tends to be underpowered in long drawn out games. So which of these color combinations is the best? Well, any of these guilds has the potential to be really strong, and at the end of the day, you should build whatever color combination feels right to you. But with that said, I do believe that Gruul comes out on top with its powerful creatures and overall consistency. Right behind Gruul, I would say Orzhov belongs. By itself, it isn't all that strong, but Orzhov splashes so well for extra removal and a great mana curve. For third place, I would give it to Rakdos if it's draft, and Simic if it's sealed. It's hard to build an aggressive Rakdos deck in sealed, but being able to pick the cards one by one in draft makes the task easier. And while Simic lacks removal, things should be fine once it reaches late game, and reaching late game is much more likely in sealed. For last place, it has to go to Azorius. Unlike the other guilds, it just feels like Azorius is missing a central theme to tie it all together. And with that, we wrap up this video. Let me know in the comments how your draft and sealed events go, and which guilds you found to be the best. By commenting and subscribing, you have a chance to win a free deck box, just like these wonderful people here. But that is all for now, and as always, I hope you have a great day.